Welcome to the Wright On Sports Show. There are many sports shows out there, but this one is Wright On. Four guys giving each other hell about sports and their sometimes questionable choice of teams. Featuring the head of the table, Kyle Wright, the king of shit takes, Marcus Weisner, the show's resident asshole, Nick Gurley, and finally, doing all the dirty work, the show bitch himself, Drew Gorman. How these guys all get along, we may never know. But let's try to find out. Let's get started.
Woo! We welcome in everybody to the Wright On Sports Show. Regular crew back in the house today.
Let's go.
Let's go. We got a great show in store for you guys. But first of all, happy Halloween to everybody out there. Thank you. What do we got? I think we got a Halloween song in here. I know.
That's close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough. It's close enough. So today we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. We're going to be talking about a little bit about the World Series. We're talking a little bit about some NFL trade deadline stuff. There's a lot to get into today, and we don't have a whole lot of time to do it. So really want to just bounce right in and let you guys chop up your World Series so far because it's
Go Braves.
been everything
Bravos.
but anything but interesting.
Oh, come on.
Oh, Kyle, can I
Jesus
go ahead and start something off real quick?
What's up?
Go ahead.
For the fact that today is Halloween, boys, hopefully everybody has a great and safe Halloween. I want to start, but I noticed that everybody is wearing a little bit of a costume today. Kyle, I noticed you're wearing, your a pumpkin shirt.
Yeah.
Our good show bitch here, Drew, is wearing a trash can on his head today. So that's wonderful. And Nick decided to, of all the attires that he's wanted to wear today, it is a 3-1 scenario for Atlanta. So we all know how this might go.
Yeah.
Choking hazard.
There's specific artists that Atlanta's in for, choke artists. And so I'm glad that he is dressed up as a choke artist today. I personally dressed up as one of the most feared football players, probably as in the fullback position.
That's a Mike Allstott jersey.
Yes, it is. Mike Allstott.
Yeah.
That's nice.
One of the most feared fullbacks of all time.
I'm just glad you came to your senses and decided Dallas sucks balls and like you wanted to actually cheer for a good team and you chose the Buccaneers. That's cool. Proud of you, Marcus. I mean, especially after all of your
live down there.
Nobody's gonna question it. You can walk around, you can go to the grocery store, you can do everything else, but we'll all know that you're a sellout.
You're already a Rays fan.
And right now, I've already gotten the notification that you have a Clemson hat coming your way.
Wow.
Oh,
who was that?
Clemson hats. Okay.
yeah.
Who was that? Who said that?
As long as it's a size large, I'm cool with it.
That was called a joke.
That's hey, whatever, man. I'll just throw it around everywhere.
No, it's just.
Thought somebody was in the comments talking shit about Florida State when Miami's the only team that did anything yesterday.
Oh, well, I mean,
Florida
blind squirrel the broken clock works twice a day, fellas.
Yeah, that's true. But the good thing that came out,
Miami's beat 2 ranked teams in a row.
the good thing that came out of that Florida game is that we did not. We scored a touchdown. We did score a touchdown.
Thank God.
We did not get shut out.
It was fucking Emory Jones. Oh
I mean, y'all had one job, and that's to cover the 20-point spread, and you didn't even do it. Shame on you.
I am playing softball, and somebody was watching the game on the side, outside of the field, and they say it's 2 minutes left till halftime, and we're down 3-0. And I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And they leave. We're at half, and I look down, and we're down 24-0. I was like, what the hell happened? What in the world is going on? I mean, Jesus Christ. Like I said,
hey, it happens, bro.
Go ahead. Dan Mullen, if I don't get a notification this week that we are going to go ahead and just finish this season with an interim defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, everybody. I mean, at this point, fire everyone. Dan Mullen, fire yourself.
Well, who's Florida got left on the schedule? Does he have any? Are there any chances for a quality win in that time frame?
I think we play Auburn and Florida State.
Okay, that's not going to
Auburn.
qualify as a
And
yeah. I was going to say that's not going to qualify as a quality win
you know what? I can say this, that I think that
if
could
y'all
be
beat Florida State.
just like you were saying yesterday, that could be like the biggest disaster.
Yeah, that's
Like,
going to be horrible.
But I feel like it's going to be one of those that you can't look away.
Florida has at South Carolina
W.
versus Samford, at Missouri
Oh, Missouri. It's not Auburn. Never.
versus Florida State.
Yeah, never mind.
So
I think
they-
Auburn
Now-
was last
So
year.
they're more than likely going to finish 8-4 because they should win all 4 of those games.
Now,
I'm
if
feeling pretty
it's-
confident
it's a-
against Samford.
for
rest
this
of
being
them, I
a
don't-
massive rivalry game, Nick, if Florida State beats Florida, is Dan Mullen sacked?
Yes.
I would
Okay.
think, regardless of the result of that game, if I'm a Florida fan, I want Dan Mullen out at the end of the year, regardless. Because
I want Dan Mullen out.
we talked at the beginning of this year, it's like Florida was a national championship contender.
Yeah.
They
They barely lose to Alabama,
Right.
and Kyle, you were the one on this show
I-
to say that they were the second best team in football.
I mean, they looked really good in that game.
Yeah.
Their defense did a great job of holding Bryce Young down.
that
Their
was the
offense,
last time you ever heard that.
they looked good in that game. But then, how good is Alabama? FSU almost had the same quality win as Georgia. Georgia, I mean, I don't know.
Against Clemson, yeah.
Against Clemson.
No, I mean it's
Weird
definitely
year.
definitely been a weird year.
Yeah.
So while we're
But
on
yeah,
college
I
football,
do believe that Clemson should get sacked. Or sorry, Clemson. Dan Mullen should get sacked. But I think that the AD should, if he doesn't fire everyone, if Dan Mullen doesn't completely fire everyone on his staff, I would fire Dan Mullen.
ooh, make an example.
I would fire Dan Mullen if he doesn't sack everyone else, because right now it's buddy ball. He's bringing all of his friends from Mississippi. It's not like you won anything in Mississippi State. Yeah, you were a good coach from Mississippi State.
You put out a pro quarterback.
That's done really well. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you put out a good pro quarterback.
yeah, and that's it. So, I mean, at this point, the two Kyles and Kadarius Toney carried us last year or the last 2 years, and I mean, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I think it should start over,
Is it
sack them all, and
Zach? Sorry about that. I just
No,
happened
go
to read the comments. Zach Plesner said, "Who should Florida hire if Dan Mullen gets fired? You want to shake the ship this morning on Halloween? How about you guys go and get Lane Kiffin?"
I like his attitude. If you want me to be honest, I think that's really not bad.
Got a good recruiting pipeline here in Florida. I mean, he's
And
got
he's
a
on
good-
it. He's a good
Yeah,
recruiter.
he's a good recruiter. He's
I
got
like
a good
it.
reputation here. You're not really
He's
recruiting
a dick,
against
and I
much.
think that's what we need. I mean, the fact that Dan Mullen, after this game, they asked him about his recruiting gap between us and Georgia, and he said, "We won last year. They won this year. That's the gap."
Mm.
He got roasted on social media for that. One, I don't really understand I don't understand how you get roasted on that, but I also don't even understand what the hell he was talking about.
Florida doesn't even have a top 20 recruiting class right now, do they?
No, that we lost both of our top two recruits in back-to-back weeks.
That's what they're asking you, Dan. You can't waffle on that question.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
So I
that's-
mean, the excuses are just ridiculous. He doesn't. It seems as though he doesn't recruit whatsoever. And I'm not going to just sit here and just make this whole show about Florida, but
No,
I mean,
but-
they're
well-
freaking garbage.
Well, I mean, it's just like the Braves. I mean, when you're in this area, you're going to talk about the local teams,
Yeah,
and I
sure.
mean, it's going to. If I'm a Florida fan, and it's easy to put myself in these shoes because I've kind of been in these shoes pretty recently. I mean, still kind of am, right? But if I am a Florida fan and I'm seeing my team playing a New Year's Six bowls every year, well, or being in contention to playing a New Year's Six bowl. I don't know Florida's exact bowl history here recently.
It's
I just know-
all New Year's Six bowls here.
I just know that last year wasn't good, but
Yeah.
everybody sat out.
Oh, against Oklahoma, yeah,
Yeah,
it's bad.
which is why you got to expand the playoff. But
I agree.
my point is, if I am Florida and I'm losing all these recruits and I don't even have a top 20 recruiting class, I'm looking at my number one rival. But Georgia's probably the number one rival now because those games are more meaningful. But I'm looking at Florida State, and I'm seeing that they haven't won a game. They haven't had a winning season in 3 years, and they have the number 2 recruiting class in college football right now.
Wow.
There's no way I'm happy as a Florida fan. We're being out recruited by fucking Florida State.
Yeah, no.
No way.
And especially because they just approved like a multi-million-dollar thing to revamp everything.
Right.
Like they're redoing the whole reason why Jimbo Fisher left Florida State.
Yep.
Florida is doing right now, and nobody wants to go there. They see that the quote-unquote culture at Florida is shit.
It's horrible.
I don't understand the fact that you have a number one wide receiver. So, okay, the background on the number one at Florida, you don't get it unless you're like a leader on the team.
Right.
So you have a number one on offense and a number one on defense. That is it. How they gave Jacob Copeland the number one number on the offense, and then he goes on social media and just talks about how unhappy he is, then you know what? You have every right to transfer. Everybody does it. Transfer your ass then. Bitch, you haven't done anything since you've been at Florida.
You're like an
Nothing.
eighth-year senior.
You never get open. I mean, you don't do shit. If you don't want to be there, don't be there. You can go and be somewhere else and go make all kinds of money. Now all I see is, which just to get off of that, would the NIL thing. All I see is these kids posting stuff on the NIL stuff, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, can we do something? Like, does it even matter now?
I'm kind of worried that it's going to get way worse. You're going to have a lot of Spencer Rattler situations where he came in as a millionaire almost essentially. I don't know what his exact worth is, but he comes in and he gets benched, and his team's automatically better since he's been benched. And he's on the sideline pouting like a bitch instead of like what you would see where, I mean, what's another situation when Felipe Franks got benched last year? You know, or 2 years ago, he transferred after the end of the year, but he wasn't on the sideline throwing a bitch fit. He was over there coaching Trask up.
Yep.
And that's what you want from your quarterback. And it's not. That's I feel like you're going to see a lot more of that. With
you're going to have the NFL is already full of divas.
Yeah.
Just imagine if they all come into the NFL already millionaires.
There's on the opposite side of that spectrum, another quarterback to kind of look at who got a 7-figure NIL payout, kind of Bryce Young.
Yep.
I mean, he came in as a freshman, got a massive deal from it, and he's doing really well right now. At least for Alabama quarterback standards, obviously, he's doing very good.
I know you're going to get. I mean, what is it? You know, if you buy a dozen eggs and 11 of them are in great shape, but one of them's all jacked up, one of them's cracked in the box. You're not focused on the 11 good ones. It's like, oh, dude, that fucked up my whole dozen.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, there's always a bad batch of apples in every tree.
Yeah, so I mean, it's obviously it's going to be a small number of the kids that do this, but I do think it's going to cause some problems.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So Bo's in the group chat saying FSU is finally catching up to other colleges by all the upgrades. Also saying the culture of the Gators is in the rocks.
Yes.
Where does Spencer Rattler go? And then also Zach is asking, how about big game Jim Harbaugh?
Jim Harbaugh.
Nobody. I mean, he'll either stay at Michigan for the rest of his damn life, or I don't think any other college will pick him up.
This is why, like, I've been asked about this multiple times, and we've talked about it on this show. They're like, why don't you want Florida State to hire Deion Sanders? See Michigan. That's why, because they will not fire him because he's alumni.
Yep.
So you're telling me, like, this dude's shit in the bed every year. He's horrible against your main rivals. What is he, 3-9 against Michigan State and Ohio State now?
3-10.
3-10
after losing yesterday.
So, I mean, and by the way, none of those three are against Ohio State. None of those three. They just make it seem better. He's like 0-6 against Ohio State, but it's no way. No, there's no way. Because if Deion came to Florida State and shit the bed, you want Florida to hire Tebow?
No.
Hell no.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, that's a great point because you kind of have that weird. It feels like if, like you mentioned, if Deion was hired, Deion's doing a great job with the program he's at now. But as you guys know, Florida State fans, Florida State boosters, and alumni, they don't have any time or comfort. They're like, nope, success has to start day one. You have to show improvement day one. There's no room for like error. Well, we gave Taggart 2 years and he was gone. You know what I mean?
But I mean, you don't get that same flexibility because if you fire, like if Michigan were to fire Jim Harbaugh right now, it's gonna just cause an uproar at Michigan, and I don't know how they really get any worse than they already are. But it's going to cause an uproar between alumni, boosters, because they all love Jim. They all love Jim
Yeah,
Harbaugh.
everybody loves Jim. It's just the fact that he can't win rivalry games.
Lose.
It's one of those things like, okay, well, we love the guy. His recruiting numbers aren't terrible. He gets them to bowl games. They're always usually ranked, but he's not getting into the playoffs, and he's not beating state or both states. He's not beating Michigan State or Ohio State. And
it's such a weird, like, do you want that as a fan? Like, if you're a Michigan fan, maybe
this is Dan Mullen all over.
Yeah,
I mean, y'all are
I've
essentially
talked
just saying
to
the
the
last
same
4
thing.
seasons of Florida football.
like if your
'Cause
goal is
I've-
to win 9-10 games, like okay,
Yeah.
I mean, keep them forever.
Yeah, and
I've talked to Michigan fans, and they have told me that they would rather only win 2 games against Michigan State and Ohio State and lose the rest of the season versus winning all the other games and losing those 2.
Yep.
They would rather have that scenario all day.
But
every
isn't that
day.
everyone?
I'm like, really?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
everyone. That's everyone, though. Like, I would much rather ruin Georgia and Florida State seasons by beating those 2 teams. I don't give a damn if we lose to Missouri, lose to South. I don't care. As long as we beat Georgia and beat Florida State. I don't give a. And this was the year I thought, not that I thought it, but that I had hoped to ruin Georgia's chances again. And I hope Georgia gets put out in the first round. I hope Alabama goes in as the number 4 seed and just beats the absolute dog shit out of Georgia. Because I would rather see Alabama win again than watch Georgia win. Because they are, to me, Georgia, obviously I hate Florida State.
Georgia sports fans suck.
I mean, as a Florida fan, I hate Florida State. But Georgia is my least favorite team.
Well, the thing is, man,
but I mean, Georgia is my least favorite team.
Florida State has the worst fans in college football, but Georgia's up there too. Georgia sports fans in general.
You know what's funny is and you said at the very beginning of this, you were like, go ahead and get your World Series stuff out of the way. And we've done nothing but talk college.
Right.
We got
We go Braves.
Go Stros. Trash can. Off speed. We got Kenny Wright saying, I can see Norvell turning the Knowles around. Patience, boys.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You know, regardless of how bad Clemson has been this year, to be able to go at Clemson and play that close when they've won, they're still winning at home, 31 in a row. They won by 10, but obviously that was on some bullshit at the end, which I have a whole nother theory about.
Did they score again at the end?
Yeah, I think Vegas has their hands in this shit because, you know, Florida State, it was a 9-point underdog, a 9.5-point underdog. So Clemson would have needed to win by 10 to cover the spread. And 80% of the country bet on Florida State yesterday to cover that spread.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden at the very end, they score a bullshit touchdown to win by 10. It's like just a little sketchy, just a little weird.
It's funny you mentioned that too. The spread for the Michigan State was 4, and they lost by 4. So back to the Michigan Ohio State thing I was talking about, just real quick. Since 2000, Michigan State Michigan has beaten Ohio State 3 times since 2000.
21 years. Wow.
Last time that they won was in 2011.
I was gonna say, was that Chad Henne?
In 11,
Because that was the year they beat Tebow, right? No, that was after Tebow left.
double check real quick.
I remember when
Wow, you guys go on and talk about something.
I remember
real quick.
Michigan they beat Tim Tebow, because it was Chad Henne. They beat the Gators in a bowl game, which just seems like it's always Michigan beating Florida. Like, it's weird. Isn't it? Like, it's always Michigan against Florida.
Yeah, I think it's the bowl they always go to. They're both from that.
No,
they always.
It was not. It was Denard Robinson.
Shoestring.
Damn, 10 years ago, Denard Robinson? Why did I think it was like 14, 15, like a lot later than that?
I mean,
boys, we're getting old.
Didn't yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. Oh, you know what? Was that the year the Jim Tressel stuff went down? And Ohio State just had a dark cloud over the whole program that year.
I'm just so glad that everybody that is listening right now that are from Florida is enjoying all this Michigan and Ohio State talk.
Yeah, I mean, I bet they're having a great time.
Well, we got Bo Green asking a good question here, saying, does Auburn have a chance to upset Alabama? Because that game is always tight, and Auburn looked good yesterday.
I think Auburn always has the chance to upset Alabama because Alabama went in and had one of their best seasons. I think they still won the championship that year, but they lost to Auburn the last game of the year. I mean, yeah, so yeah, I think Auburn always has a chance to beat them. And also shout out to Colton Thursby. He has a 14-hour drive to North Carolina, and he needed some content. So I'm sure the first 15 minutes of this was great Michigan State content, bud.
Hope you're happy. Hope you're happy.
Well, this year has a little bit of a different concept too, because if Auburn beats Alabama, I think that pretty much ruins the chance or makes the college committee think a little harder about bringing a 2-loss Alabama team to the playoffs. Do you guys think?
Man, there's so many good 1-loss teams that I think a 2-loss getting in would just completely shatter the whole legitimacy of this. But, college football, they'll find a way because Alabama will lose to Auburn, but then they'll turn around and beat Georgia in the SEC championship, and they're like, Alabama.
What would happen with that?
Yeah, Georgia would drop 1 spot and Alabama would get in, and then they would do it like Georgia would be number 2, Alabama would slide in at number 4, then they don't have to play each other, and then we get the rematch in the national championship game. I've literally seen this movie before because it's happened 3 times now.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
How do you get your big money matchup? That's it. There's no money in Cincinnati versus Georgia for the national championship. There's just not. But I don't know.
Yeah, because as of right now, you are right. Because as of right now, they already in the AP top 25. They already have Alabama as the number 3 over Oklahoma, who's undefeated.
Yeah,
so that to me makes 0 sense.
And it's like Alabama didn't lose to a good team, so I don't know why.
Well, they're ranked 14th now.
Yeah,
I'm just
they're
ranked 14th out there now,
and
the fact that they have Ohio State. And actually, this is a great transition as well. I want to hear you guys' because they released the playoff picks
Tuesday.
Yeah. So who do you guys say? Who's your 1, 2, 3, 4, Marcus?
Number 1 is still Georgia,
of course.
Number 2, Cincinnati. Number 3, Michigan State, and number 4, I'll probably go Oklahoma.
Okay.
So you went straight undefeated teams.
I mean, yeah, it's the reason I put Michigan State 3rd is obviously they beat the number 6 team in the country, and they jump Oklahoma because Oklahoma's had way too many close calls as far as what if losing scenarios. I almost didn't think about putting them in the top 4, but hey, they're still undefeated, so they still deserve a top 4 spot as of right now. But Bama's sitting right there, knocking on the door, number 5, saying, "Hey, at some point, Oklahoma, you're going to lose."
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, so I've got number 1 Georgia, I've got Cincinnati number 2, I've got Oklahoma number 3, and then at number 4, I kind of had a little bit of parity here because I do think Michigan State is a solid team, but I kind of had to draw myself back and do the whole, who's the best team in the country, and who's the better team, really. So I put Ohio State at number 4. I do think they're better than Michigan State. I have Alabama 5, Michigan State 6. First 2 out.
I do believe that you have to. It depends on how you're going to draw this out. I get it. Records should definitely hold true value.
Yeah,
but to me, Oklahoma's not better than Alabama. I understand they're undefeated, but they're not better than Alabama.
Right.
It's
so
you have to. You have to. But being undefeated is all that matters, really. So I would have to say that it would be Georgia, Cincinnati, Oklahoma, Michigan State. And then I would put, as of right now, I would put Ohio State looking in, and then Alabama 6. Because Ohio State's loss is a lot better than Alabama's loss.
Yeah. Well, real quick, when you guys talk about Ohio State being in the top 4, what are their quality wins that gets the college football community to put them in the top 4?
I said Ohio State number 5, just so we're clear.
What, for Ohio State?
Okay. Yeah, what quality wins get them to be in the top 5 or the top 4?
Yeah, I hate to do this, but what quality wins does Georgia have to be number 1?
Because you can't count Clemson.
It's broken record stuff, man. I know we talk about that every week.
Yeah.
What quality wins does Georgia? If you want to look at quality wins, I think Cincinnati's probably got the most quality wins in the top 4.
Yeah, well, them and Michigan State, because
Michigan State. If you're going to go quality wins, it's kind of hard to talk about.
And to tell you the truth, Cincinnati's beaten Notre Dame
at Notre Dame. That's the best win.
That is it.
That's the best win out of all these.
Yeah. So Cincinnati, I guess we can look at Alabama.
Oh, Georgia beat Kentucky. Forgot about that. Thank you, Josh, on that.
Go Kentucky.
I mean, I don't know if it's a quality win anymore after them losing to Mississippi State last night.
For the rankings, it's a quality win, but come on now.
And the only quality win that Alabama has is over a number 10 Ole Miss at the time.
At the time.
Yep. And then they lost to the other. They're 1-1 against ranked teams. They lost to Texas A&M.
I think Texas
Right.
A&M was unranked.
A&M was unranked.
A&M was. Well, I'm just saying right now.
Yeah.
It was showing their rankings
yeah.
right now. Yeah.
Can't believe Ole Miss was still number 10.
Okay. So Ohio State probably has. They beat Penn State.
Yeah.
Okay.
They beat
Okay.
Penn State, so that's a quality win.
that's a
They
quality
lost
W.
they lost against Oregon. The other, so really every team is
Like one
has
quality
got
win.
one quality win, and then they
Except
lose
for
to their
maybe
next
Georgia.
one. And then Georgia, let's see Georgia here. Georgia
Beat Clemson on
they
neutral
beat
field.
unranked Florida. They beat the dog shit out of Kentucky 30-13. They beat Auburn, who was also ranked at the time. They're ranked now, so.
We'll call Auburn
Auburn's
a
a
quality,
quality
W.
win.
We'll call Auburn a quality win. Right
And if you want to count Clemson at the time,
it's weird.
depends
talking
on how
about
you
at
want to
the
do that
time.
one. Yeah.
Beat a really bad Clemson team. Didn't score any points on a neutral
Yeah, that
field.
at the
That's-
time thing, it's like I wonder too with the committee part. Do they take them? I say the top 5 matchup between Georgia and Clemson. They say, okay, this was a top 5 matchup and a top 5 win, or do they go at the end of the season and go, well, they technically beat a top 5 team, but now they're not ranked anymore. I wonder how that works in their heads.
They call it it's a win over a ranked team. That's what they call it. I mean, that says they were ranked at the time just because you may have knocked them out from being ranked.
Yeah.
It's like Texas A&M still has a win over number 1 Alabama. You know
Right,
what I'm saying?
Right.
That makes
So-
yeah.
Yeah, because they beat them when they were number 1. And
Yeah.
right now, Michigan
Yeah.
State's one quality win is over Michigan yesterday.
Well, they have a heavy end of season schedule.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously heavy.
I love
So
the Big
if they
Ten.
finish the season undefeated, they have to be top 4.
I love the Big Ten.
Now, let's talk Oregon. Oregon has single-handedly has the best win over Ohio State.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or-
that's legitimately
Who's Oregon's loss?
Auburn.
They play.
Oh,
Oh wait, that says 20. I'm sorry, they hadn't done
I was
that the
gonna
whole
say, that
time.
was-
Sorry, that said 2019.
Oh God.
Why did that do that? My God! But that's it. They beat Ohio State. Their loss was to Stanford in overtime.
At Stanford.
ooh.
And I do not know if they were ranked. No, Stanford hadn't been ranked all year this year. I
No,
don't think.
they've been pretty rough.
Oh,
That's
man.
a bad L. That's
Yeah.
a bad L.
That's a terrible L.
Expand it. We don't
Yeah.
have to have these conversations.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
You get it to 12, and yeah,
There's some fun football being played if you got 12.
Even
You know what? What the hell? Let's make it a March Madness. Call it the Christmas
64.
Madness. We'll just 64 teams. Let's go, baby.
Hey, Florida State made the college football playoff.
What I think they should
We have-
do with that, I think they should do is they should make the season 8 games. You have 8 games to be a good team or a trash team, and if you were in the top, let's say 25 or 26, whatever, and that's how they do their playoff off the top 25 teams. You better get in there as a ranked team.
I like it. And then you can every conference can realign themselves the way the SEC is going to do when Texas and Oklahoma come in, to where it's like 3 divisions
Yep.
now. That way you play 2 non-conference and you play 6 conference games.
Yep.
So you'll play the other 4 teams in your division or whatever.
Yep.
However it goes from there. I mean, people get paid a lot of money to do that.
Yeah.
So if I can come up
Again,
with
we're
it,
not
I
getting
feel like
paid
they
any. If
should.
you want to donate, we have a
Yeah. We don't have a
an
Patreon,
OnlyFans.
but I can give you my PayPal.
yeah. You know what? We'll scroll the Venmo down at the very bottom. It'll
Yeah.
be fine.
That's what we'll do.
well,
All
we got
donations accepted.
Kenny over here saying, "Sorry, Nick, but Georgia wins the national championship."
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I
man.
mean, so as of right now, they beat Florida. Great. They beat Kentucky, who we knew was going to be a bust at some point this year. They beat Clemson, who is garbage.
horrible. You know, Clemson started 47 different people this year, though. They've had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they have.
So maybe, at the time, Georgia was probably playing a pretty solid
Decent
Clemson team.
Yeah. So, but I'm just saying because Clemson lost several guys in that game.
Yeah.
But I just don't think so. They have played no one, and they're to me that Florida was awful yesterday. I'm talking terrible. We had to bring back Emory Jones. Everybody thought, every Florida fan out there thought, Anthony Richardson. And I was telling every one of them, be careful for what you wish for. Because Anthony Richardson came out there, who has only played in the second half, trying to, or coming in to expel him for a little bit or whatever it was. But, and he shit the bed.
Yeah, there you go.
Shit the bed. That's all. He threw 2 picks. How in 2 minutes? How did they score 21 points? How? It's awful. Awful. I don't think Georgia wins the national championship. I truly don't.
They have a hell of an easy road. The rest of
they're going to the playoff.
The rest of their schedule is Missouri, Tennessee, Charleston Southern, Georgia Tech.
Yeah, they're in the playoff. Now, here's the biggest thing that I have to say about this.
God.
From Zach Lesnar's earlier comment. Auburn, please let Alabama win.
Yeah.
Because I want Alabama Georgia SEC title game right now. That's what I want. I want Georgia to get there. I want Georgia to get pulled out like a girl with by her hair. That's what I want. I want Alabama to dog Georgia. That's what I want to happen.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Yeah. Oh boy.
So Josh Jones says, if you don't think Georgia wins, who do you think wins it?
I think Alabama wins it. I'm still going to stand by Alabama winning it.
In a previous,
I've called it from the very beginning.
In a previous comment, he also said maybe Alabama or Ohio State, but that's still a long shot in my opinion.
I don't think it's that long though, because honestly, what are the odds that Michigan State slips up? Probably pretty damn big. What's the odds that somebody like Cincinnati slips up?
Probably pretty small at this point.
Who do they have the rest of their season? Who does Cincinnati have the rest of their season?
I don't think they slip up. I think they get exposed, embarrassed in
a title
playoff.
game.
In the playoff?
So you think Cincinnati makes the playoff? So you have 2 teams right now, 100% going to the playoff. Cincinnati, Georgia.
I'm pulling up Cincinnati's schedule right now.
As of right now, who would Oklahoma play in their title game?
In mine, it would Oklahoma's
in the title
Big 12. Well, probably like Baylor's on fire right now.
Yeah, so who's on the other side against Oklahoma?
See, the way the Big 12 goes, you play round robin and then you play again. That's why the Big 12's probably like it's not the best conference, but it's one of my favorite conferences because of the way you play everybody.
Oh, okay.
There's no divisions. Like you play round robin schedule. I love that.
So with this schedule, tell me Cincinnati doesn't finish out. They have home to Tulsa, at USF, home to SMU, at ECU, East Carolina.
So Cincinnati goes to the playoff. But who do they play in their title game?
In the AAC,
Probably it might be Houston.
Oh God. Okay, never mind.
Probably like Memphis.
Houston, probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, or Houston.
Hey,
okay.
Houston is that team
in.
that might do it.
Cincinnati's in, and they really haven't had any quality wins either at this point, have they?
No, at Notre Dame, 24-13.
Double-digit win at South Bend is always a good one.
It's always a good one,
regardless of how good or bad they are.
As of right now, Oklahoma has Baylor next week. Oh no, not next week. I think they're on bye next week, and then it's the week after. Then they have Iowa State.
Tough.
Then they have Oklahoma State. They finished with 3 ranked teams.
Yeah.
I mean, if they can come out of that undefeated still, then Oklahoma's going to have a very real case to be number 2.
They've got to be.
No doubt. Yeah, I think if they go that way, they will be number 2.
Yeah. But
they'll skip
if they look convincing in it.
Oklahoma Cincinnati
I
will
want
be
the
a
top
very
4
fun first round.
I want this top 4, the especially the one that I was mentioning, all of them to go undefeated, just for the committee to go. Which one do we take out if we want to put Bama in there?
I'm very.
Or I want them to say Alabama's at 5, and I want to see Saban. We deserve to be in the top 4. Expand the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you want a reason to expand it? Alabama doesn't make it.
Yeah.
And the committee will probably like the lead guy will have a seizure right on set, and they'll be like, "What happened?" They'll be like, "Alabama didn't make the." What's wrong with you? We have to expand it. Nah, that's
Paul Feinbaum's taking an extended vacation after he hears they're not making the playoffs.
So I can say this. So Michigan State still plays Ohio State.
Yeah.
And they still play Penn State, I believe.
Yeah,
Back
I
to
mean,
back.
so and Ohio State still plays Michigan, who is still going to be like a top 10 team by the time they play them.
Yeah, but
So-
I just debunked that. Michigan's not winning that.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So Ohio State beating a potentially top 4 Michigan State and then beating a top 10 Michigan, that puts them in the playoff over Alabama.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be fun.
Right?
I wonder where the
Unless
committee,
Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC play title game, and then that
then-
puts Alabama in.
And then where do you put Georgia?
they
Georgia
drop-
would
We just
stay in.
discussed it too. Yeah, they'll stay at 2.
They'll stay at 2. and then
Especially if
Alabama
Alabama's
get
number
up to number
5 at that point, you're not going to move Georgia back very far unless they get their ass
I
whooped.
think the only
Which again, hair.
there has
drag.
to be some kind of alignment, like for that to be like. There's no way that game can happen twice unless it's the first round. Like
I
I
agree.
wish that they would look at that and be like, okay, so Georgia and Alabama, they played in the SEC title game. Alabama won a close game. They're both in the playoff, but there's no like that would just move Georgia. What they would drop 1 spot probably.
Yep.
And Alabama would come up 1 spot, so it would be. Here we go.
So
they're
they would try to do exactly what Yep.
going to play in the national championship. Like we got to try to avoid that.
I agree. I think that if there are 2 teams from the same conference, they should have to play each other.
Unless
in the first
you-
round. In the
when
first round.
When we expand, that's a whole different story.
Right.
But with a 14 playoff, come on, man. Like you don't have to make it so obvious. Like I know the SEC's got a big thing with ESPN, and they've got all their hands in all this, and I know that makes ESPN a lot of money, but you don't have to make it so obvious.
See, but I guess my question is do you leave Georgia there, though? How would you do it?
And
There's
if it's
really no way of fixing that. If Georgia goes in undefeated, loses to Alabama, who is a number 5 team, now that puts Alabama in front, going to number 4, unless, I mean, there's no way they jump to number 3, especially if that number 3 team is Oklahoma and they're undefeated, or Cincinnati and they're undefeated.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
So there's really no
They
other
would
way
they would
to do it.
consider a quality win for a 5 team beating a number 1 team, and they might jump them to 3rd.
I wonder what the committee
Over an undefeated team, and if Oklahoma goes undefeated, they're number 2. Cincinnati would be. Would you really move Cincinnati to number 4? Being undefeated.
I mean,
isn't
I've
that-
seen I've seen
being
crazier shit
undefeated
happen
with-
before.
Being undefeated with your 1 win, 1 quality win,
yeah. Okay.
Notre
yeah.
Dame.
I mean, I could-
that could be their argument because they're coming from the AAC.
God, that would be so horrible. I would not. I honestly,
It's
wouldn't
bad.
watch
It's bad
if they bump
optics.
Cincinnati out with no losses for a
Well,
one
no,
loss.
to number
to
4,
4.
and put Alabama
Oh,
number
okay.
3.
I thought you were talking about them
put
getting
Georgia
out.
number 2. That would put Oklahoma at number 1. That would put Oklahoma, Cincinnati, Georgia, Alabama.
Well, if Georgia
That actually sounds pretty damn. Because then at that point you don't have the number 4 versus number 1, Alabama versus Georgia, and then in the championship you have either Oklahoma or Cincinnati, or Georgia and Alabama.
I love that.
That's the only way that happens. So I hope all of that happens.
I hope all. Yeah.
And I hope somebody wrote that down because I'm already lost.
I wonder where
we
the
got it
committee.
recorded.
I wonder where the committee is going to go with Cincinnati on Tuesday night. I wonder if they are seeing the same thing that we're seeing because I mean, Cincinnati's been good. I mean, they've struggled in a couple games, but the thing is, they've come out in the second half of those struggles and they've just completely opened it up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what you got to do. So, I mean, that win at South Bend, Indiana, at night is still a good win. I mean, there's still Notre
Yes,
Dame's
it is.
only loss. I should point that out. That's Notre Dame's only loss at this point. I don't think they should be punished. I think they should be able to stay right where they're at.
I'm going to throw this out there. I think we made the wrong thumbnail for this episode.
Yeah, probably.
I
I
can
think
make
so,
another
too.
one.
Yeah, we're going to have to
'Cause
make
I-
a different
'cause-
thumbnail.
We might not even have
'Cause,
time to go into that stuff anymore.
Yeah. Well, we'll be able to. Let's go ahead and
Yeah, let's
shift
let's
to NFL.
change gears.
And let's talk a little. Do you want to do our picks first, or what do you want to do?
We'll close out with the picks.
Okay, so first things first, NFL trade deadline. It is coming up on Tuesday. So, who are Marcus? Who do you think is out there right now that is going to be a surprise? Like, holy crap! Why did they just trade him? I mean, you had said it earlier, so I'm assuming you're still going to go with the one that you had said earlier.
I'll do a homer pick and then I will do a non-homer pick.
Okay.
I like that. Everybody's going to do a homer pick, by the way.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's just some. For the Cowboys, I would like for them to trade Michael Gallup. Dallas's defense has shown that even with the depth with Michael Gallup being on the IR, not being able to play, they're getting the job done. They're using the additional pieces in the absence of Michael Gallup being out. Dalton Schultz has eclipsed to being the most targeted tight end or the most targeted receiver, technically, in the NFL in the red zone, which is it's fantastic because that was probably one of the biggest missing pieces on the offense is not having a great tight end since Jason Witten.
How many tight ends does he have? Or how many touchdowns does he
have? Dalton Schultz?
Yeah.
I will pull that up.
So he has the most targets, but he only has like 4 touchdowns?
Well, I mean, it's only been they've only played 6 games, you know.
Right, but you trade Michael Gallup just because he has a bunch of Dalton Schultz.
Well, because it's one of those things where it's one of those things where there are teams out there like the Saints who don't have great receiver depth. There are teams that need receivers out there. Michael Gallup,
right? So, but
deserves
do you go
to
out
not
and
be
get a DB? Is that what you're saying? Like,
yes,
I feel
I
have some good DBs, but you're not going to get Marshawn Lattimore for Michael Gallup.
No.
An
It's
IR Michael Gallup. How long
no.
does he have to stay on the IR? Much longer. Like, is it only a couple more weeks?
Michael Gallup he's off.
Oh, is he? Did he come off this week?
Yes, yeah, he's healthy.
It's 3 weeks, right?
You have up to once you activate him from the IR, you have up to 3 weeks to put him on the active roster.
Gotcha.
But if he's good to go, you can basically play him that day.
Right. I think he obviously plays today, just in case if y'all actually are going to trade him, y'all he can show out that he's healthy, right?
It depends because Dak is legitimately a game time decision.
I still have him in my starting lineup.
If there is speculation that that they could potentially trade him, I don't know if they are, but if they do, and Cooper Rush is playing and he's starting, I wouldn't because I don't know what the hell the offense is going to do. I have no idea. Yeah. Just basically keep him on the side as a healthy scratch, and that way, trade deadline's Tuesday. You can find a potential suitor for that. But there are teams out there who could use him better than Dallas is using. What's wrong with Dak? He had a calf strain that literally happened on the last play of the overtime game against the Patriots, and so he's not like hurt. It's just more of he came out it was basically a press conference that said that this game against the Vikings, Dallas is in a position where he could miss a game if he needs to because, I mean, right now the rest of the NFC East just sucks. Yeah, so they are able to take that if they lose to the Vikings. You know, that one loss is not going to hurt their chances of making the playoffs.
No, I think you guys might be able to clinch this division with 7 wins. Honestly,
yeah, no, you're honestly correct on that, and so I think that that's just a personal thing. If they trade Gallup, get some additional help for the defense because right now it's the Train Diggs show at the secondary. Anthony Brown supposedly is the best rated corner in man-to-man coverage. I don't really see it. I think the dude's garbage. Just any additional pieces to help that secondary would be fantastic.
Drew,
and then my second one.
Oh God!
That
was like 5 minutes of one.
Okay. Sorry, I won't go too far in the second one. I'm sorry. I know, right? I think the Bears should trade Khalil Mack.
Oh.
But they gave up the farm to get him.
But somebody else would give the farm and more to get him.
Would they?
I don't know at this stage.
I was about to say, would they though? And who?
He's been really good, but he hasn't been like the Khalil Mack he was with the Raiders.
Right.
In recent
you're in a position. Here
in the past year, 2 years.
Chicago is in a position where they have a young quarterback in Justin Fields. If they trade Khalil Mack and get a assload of picks, they can load up the offensive line to scheme around Justin Fields to the future. I mean, because he looks like he's just lost.
Against it or anything, because to me, one player on defense. I mean, but he is a huge player. But
right, I don't think losing Khalil Mack would really do much to that defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely hurts, but it's especially if you can replace with a younger, go out and pick somebody else that's going to be a decent linebacker. I mean, no, I'm with you. I like that.
To me, the Bears trade piece that they use is not Khalil Mack. It actually ends up being Allen Robinson. With how many teams out there need receivers, i.e. New Orleans,
Patriots.
How many teams
have 0 receivers?
With how
Actually,
many
the Saints don't have very many either.
With how many teams need a receiver, and you look how poorly he has meshed with both quarterbacks that they have thrown out there this year, it's insane. he deserves better because he is a top 15, top 12 wide receiver in the NFL.
He's pushing top 10.
Yeah.
He's pretty close to a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
Right? Wide receiver. Right
I would choose him over a lot of wide receivers, but still, he deserves a lot better. He has the talent. He's just not meshed, and now might be the time to move on.
Okay. So I guess the big looming question here is, does Deshaun Watson get traded? I actually like that pick, though. I think that's great.
I guess not at this point. I mean, honestly, there's too many question marks in it. As much as I would love Miami to pull that trigger, maybe they do it after the season. Maybe Miami pulls that trigger after the season because they've only said Tua will be the starting quarterback for the rest of 2021. Okay, well,
I guess my question is, it really wouldn't make any sense for Miami to go out and get Deshaun Watson right now because his value is going to go down after this season. If he doesn't play at all this season, his value will go down.
Our season's over.
Right. What are y'all, 2 and?
Or no, not 2. We're 1 and 6.
1 and 6.
I have a genuine question.
Okay.
What is taking Roger Goodell and the NFL so long to rule on Watson's case?
Because
he hasn't technically been convicted of anything.
Accusations still.
And right now, it's a bunch of people that he's paid, and they've all dropped the cases, a lot of them.
Yeah.
But then there's others that haven't, but I'm assuming they're probably asking for a lot more money. I don't know, but it's all still accusations. He hasn't been charged with anything yet.
I'm actually pretty happy with the way they've handled it. And I don't he's not playing, so good on the Texans. They're not putting him on the field. He's not in the spotlight while this is all going on. But I think we've I really don't want this to be taken as anything for me saying that he didn't do it or saying he's right or anything like that. But I think that now we've developed this guilty till proven innocent mentality in life and in the world, and especially in our country. I'm happy that he hasn't had the kitchen sink thrown at him on suspension. I'm happy he wasn't banned from the NFL. I'm happy he's not playing. Yep. I'm happy that he's not being allowed to play
Figure
by
it out
his team
before you punish somebody.
Yeah.
You haven't even figured anything out
yet. You
yet.
could have ruined this dude's life over something that, I don't know if it's true. We don't know if it's true. The only people that do are him and them.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But he's not even on the exempt list.
Yeah, but where does Miami focus now?
So,
focusing on not being the worst team in the NFL, or do they focus on go ahead and getting that number 1 pick? Oh, they don't freaking have a first-round pick. So
Zach, we have a first-round pick, but not ours.
Zach actually has a kind of funny take that me and Nick are going to laugh at that Kyle may cry. But he says, I think the Dolphins trade Xavier Howard if they can get first round picks, because the Dolphins love to hoard draft picks for the future that they will miss out on.
Yeah, no, I mean he's kind of right there. I don't agree with trading X just because he's the anchor of the defense, but I mean you're going to get a nice return for him.
I would 2 first-round picks.
I think they could probably finagle 3 out of somebody.
Corner
3 first-round picks.
He's still one of the best corners in the NFL.
He led the league in interceptions last year, right?
And he's
but what is he doing this year?
He's got the third lowest passer rating when they're throwing at him. He's still having a good
3 first-round picks.
I think they can get it. I think they can.
But who has that though?
I
talking about 3 years in a row. I
don't know.
You only do that for a quarterback.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
There's no way you do that for a corner.
Well, the Jags did it for Ramsey.
Yeah, but that's probably one of the best freaking cornerbacks to ever play in the NFL. Xavier Howard is not on Ramsey's level.
No,
he's close.
Nobody is.
But I said he's close. It's not even close. No.
Zach says 2 1s and 2 2s.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll give. They also do 2 2s, but not. Yeah, I don't know about 2 1s.
Yeah, I would say if you get a 1 and 2 2s, I would understand. But for a cornerback, I don't see 2 2s.
Is he on a contract here?
It would have.
No, he actually just got an extension, which is the weirdest. That's why I don't agree with that take, and I think it's more hypothetical. What I want to see the Dolphins do is I want to see them dump off Devontae Parker. The dude's been trashed since we've drafted him.
Agreed.
He's been horrible. Yeah. He doesn't fit in Miami. There's no reason. I don't know why Devontae Parker's still in teal and orange. We need a little bit of a defensive line help. Obviously, we would have to attach something else. Probably not much to this because this guy's on a contract year, but I think that we could probably make an exchange with the Eagles to get Fletcher Cox.
Okay.
Get a little defensive line help. I mean, we need a lot of help, but I think having somebody to help open a pass rush up for Emmanuel Ogbah to get to the quarterback would be nice. And Miami might be able to slide out about 6 or 7 wins out of this year if they can make that trade. Devontae Parker's lost on the Dolphins offense. There's nothing for him. I mean, this offense focuses around, nobody. But if it had to, it's mostly a Mike Gesicki, Myles Gaskin, Savon. These guys I'm naming are just awful.
Well, somebody else that could be on the trade, the block, OBJ. Does he fit in Miami?
I don't think Miami should go get another receiver. They've got enough of that. They've got enough weapons.
Okay.
That are.
I was just throwing that out there because I did see that he is, Cleveland's not exactly happy with him.
I do think the New Orleans Saints should
go
throw
get
the kitchen
OBJ.
sink at the Cleveland Browns to go get OBJ.
Yep.
Could
you imagine OBJ on one side, Michael Thomas on the other?
The Saints don't.
Oh God!
The Saints' number 1 receiver right now would be lucky to be a number 3 on almost 20 other teams in the NFL.
Marquez Callaway.
Now, Nick, that's a great 1-2 punch in 2016. I tell you what.
Slant boy.
Well,
you guys Slant Boy and Mr. IR himself. I mean, that's great. Great job right there.
Listen, the Saints need some help elsewhere too, and I mean, maybe you look at starting to get a little younger and you ship off Michael Thomas.
I think that's going to happen already because I think the Saints. He's already said he did not want to be with the Saints.
I mean, and he's not gonna. Honestly, I know I said this before the show, but I don't think there's any spot for Michael Thomas in a Jameis Winston offense. Jameis isn't a slant thrower.
No, he is not,
and that's all Michael Thomas is good at.
He made it big. He was great as a slant runner.
Yeah,
but if you watched any of the games, he was also running digs and outs and other routes. But
we're not saying that all he ever did was slants.
I know.
That's where all of his yardage came.
Because that's what Drew Brees' arm could handle. It was a product of the offense. He can do a whole lot more.
But he hasn't proved any of that.
He did. Yeah. He would run digs all the freaking time. 10 to 15 yard digs all over.
But you're still talking short to medium passes is what you. I mean, you're not saying.
But that's also if Drew Brees was throwing, he couldn't get the ball 60 yards down the field.
Right.
7.
So he hasn't had a
7.
chance to prove it.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Drew Brees was struggling getting the ball 6 yards down.
Yeah, those slants were hurting his arm. I mean,
exactly. So, I mean, it's to me. I saw him like when Drew Brees was healthy. Whenever Michael Thomas was first starting out, he was throwing the ball down the field. He was running those deep over routes, running those deep crosses, and he was making them 8 times out of 10.
Well, I would say,
and then as Drew Brees started to get hurt, as he got a little older, they started moving everything down. They started moving everything to slants, started moving everything to hitches, and started catering more around what Drew Brees could handle and what we could move the ball. And that's where you kind of got the Alvin Kamara being able to dink and dunk and just let him get it to your playmakers and let them make a play.
Well,
you know where Michael Thomas should go?
Marcus, real quick. I got to get out of here because I actually just because of the vacation and everything, I ended up sorry, I needed a minute to think about that one. I ended up having to work a double today, so I've got to get out to 30A. But I just want to leave closing thoughts on this episode. First of all, fuck the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
If the Braves are my least favorite team in Major League Baseball, or my second least favorite, but you guys are definitely right there.
Love you too.
You guys are definitely least favorite.
And just to go off of that, and if you have any comment, just real fast.
Yeah.
Do you believe, since a lot of the Houston Astros are on their contract year right now, me and Drew were talking about this yesterday, do they go anywhere else? I feel like this year, this is the easiest team. The Houston Astros have the best players right now to sign every last one of them because every other team, those guys are not going to fit into those locker rooms. Carlos Correa is a little bitch.
Yeah.
And I feel like if he went anywhere, I mean, you can go ahead and mark off that he's not going to the Yankees. None of those guys will go to the Yankees. The Yankees fans are just pissed about them because they beat them in the ALCS and all that and went to the World Series that year.
Stole a championship from them.
So do they go anywhere else outside of Houston?
I don't think they fit in anywhere else.
I don't either.
Just for that reason. But I mean, Garrett Cole's in a Yankee uniform, so
It's a good
and
point.
he was
too.
part of
That's
that.
a great point.
Yeah, but he was
part
just
of that.
there.
He was there, but he was on that team.
Right,
But he wasn't a
but he
major
wasn't
part
a
of it like
hitter.
these other guys.
Yeah, he wasn't
are.
a hitter.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Somebody would sign them. The Cubs could. The Cubs got money. The Phillies, the White Sox probably could. One of those West Coast teams, and undoubtedly will. Somebody would.
Yeah, it's definitely a good point that Nick had brought up. Like, is there a chance that they could go? Like, as an Astros fan, I hope to God not, because I don't know where we go from here. We've got a great farm system, so we've got a chance to replenish, but
there's going to be a
obviously,
second where you guys don't get to see us because Kyle's in the way, and as mentioned before.
Right.
still a piece of garbage.
Have fun, Kyle.
Oh man. Oh, but back to the Michael Thomas thing. You know what team would be really scary with Mike Thomas on the roster if healthy?
Who?
The Green Bay Packers.
Oh my God.
They're about to
Oh,
lose Devontae
yeah.
Adams and Aaron Rodgers this offseason. So what
but
are
if
they
you
going
add
to do? You got Brett
yeah, but
Hundley
my-
throwing?
Yeah, but how many years does Michael Thomas have in his contract?
Michael Thomas. Let's look at that.
Yeah, but you got to think, man. Even if it's a 1-year rental, you don't have to give very much up if he wants out. And the fact that the Saints are literally so broke that it makes the three of us rich. The thing is that you add that in there, and Rodgers gets an actually decent wide receiver because wide receiver depth got hit with COVID. Plus, on top of that, too, Robert Tonyan tore his ACL last week. He's not there anymore.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there because if they go and get Michael Thomas, I don't believe Devontae Adams nor Rodgers
Aaron
goes
Rodgers.
anywhere.
He's got 3
That's
years left.
Yeah, you go get 3 years of Michael Thomas. No, they're not going anywhere.
Oh my God.
They're not going anywhere.
I mean, Rodgers could throw a slant. Rodgers could throw that ball 60 yards.
That's
you know what I
right.
mean? Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't double cover Devontae Adams anymore. You can't do it.
Nope. So let's get into
Oh.
our picks for this week. Y'all
Okay.
ready?
Let's
Let's
do
get
it.
into our
Yeah, let's do
picks.
it, man.
Okay.
I love it.
So we're going to start off with, and I'll call out Kyle's picks. He already put his initials by everything, so I'll just call his
Okay.
out. So we're going to go Panthers versus the Falcons. And I'm assuming all of these, I have the piece of paper he wrote down. I'm assuming everybody, the last team will be the home team. I'm assuming. Right now.
I believe. Okay.
Panthers at Atlanta.
Okay. Ooh. Give me the Panthers.
Panthers, okay. I'm gonna go Panthers as well.
It's at the Falcons. Yeah. I get everything pulled up just in case.
I'm going to go Falcons.
Falcons, okay.
Give me
and
Cordero Patterson.
the Kyle also has the Falcons, who has come back
Okay.
to see us and then not say anything. See you later. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Off camera.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're gonna get the absolute garbage of Dolphins versus the Bills.
Give me the Bills by this.
think this is gonna
It's
be
a
a
14 points, 14-point spread.
Yeah.
Give me
give
the Bills by 28.
Yeah. Bills and to cover.
And Bills and to cover.
Bills.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go 49ers Bears. And if
Give
y'all
me
want to
the
throw in
Niners.
any fantasy picks here or whatever, like some sleepers or anything like that, I mean,
Yeah.
feel free as well. 'Cause
Okay.
I got a question before we get off air anyway, because I'm stacked with wide receivers, and one of them just came off the IR, and I'm trying to figure out
Jerry
who-
Jeudy?
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy. But I also
Hey.
have let me get to that league real fast, so I'll just go ahead and ask it. Because one of those players are on this team. So my wide receivers are Calvin Ridley,
Okay.
Cooper Kupp, and Debo Samuel.
Oh, okay.
Can I even put in Jerry Jeudy?
Well, if you listen to my fantasy football podcast or for this past week, I said Calvin Ridley is the sit of the week.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yep.
There's not a lot. There's not a lot of love going to this offense at all. I don't know if there's any like what they're trying to do, but
And Washington
Calvin
is
Ridley
the
is being-
second worst.
Calvin Ridley is being very, very underused. You thought Kyle Pitts is not being used much. Calvin Ridley is not being used at all in comparison to that. It's kind of, I don't know what's going on with this offense, but they're not moving the ball very much.
So I just made this change. And look, I got a company car. I'll drive to Tampa and hit you in the balls if Calvin Ridley goes off. And
I have
Judy
Calvin
does
Ridley
not do
sitting.
that.
I have Calvin Ridley sitting in a league as well. So it's not like what I'm telling you I wouldn't do myself. He's sitting in my league.
Yeah, he did have 10 targets, but he only had 26 yards and a touchdown last week.
So I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if it's Matt Ryan not throwing the ball very well. I don't know. Because some of the teams Atlanta's playing, they don't have great secondaries. They're just not playing good.
That offense runs through Cordero Patterson and Kyle Pitts now.
Which is awesome for Kyle Pitts. Okay, so 49ers, Bears. You went Niners, is that what you said?
I went Niners, and Khalil Herbert will have another 100-yard game.
Okay. All right.
Bears on the back of Herbert. That man has done nothing but produce. Like, he is a fantasy stud as of right now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, the 49ers offense just isn't nearly as good without George Kittle, so I'm going to go Bears as well. Kyle went with the 49ers. And by the way, Kyle also went with the Bills over his own team, the Dolphins.
Well, I would too.
Yeah. So Steelers at Browns.
Give me the Browns. I like the running game.
Yep. I got
Nick
Browns.
Nick
as
Chubb.
well.
Nick Chubb. Yeah, Chubb is back today. So
Yes, sir.
I think Browns, and this is a good spot where OBJ comes out and shows he deserves not to be traded.
I don't think so.
well, Baker Mayfield still has a hurt arm, so
Yeah.
they're going to run the ball a lot.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't think so.
All
And
aboard
with
the Chubb train.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Woo
and with Chubb
woo.
coming back. I don't think so. So we swept on that one too. Beers.
Beers.
Drank too much last night.
Guess I'm over here.
Yeah. Eagles at Lions. Kyle has the Lions winning.
I have the Lions as well.
Oh.
Hey, you want to give your
Yes.
fantasy kicker advice on this?
Oh
game?
yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any kicker that is playing against the Lions in Detroit, start them ASAP. I'm starting Jake Elliott this
Okay.
week.
All right.
Fantasy kickers who are going into Detroit are averaging between 12 to 15 points guaranteed every week.
Ooh. Okay. But yet you're still going to pick the Lions.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I'll pick the Lions, but
Okay. And by the way, we were going, just to throw this out there before I even get your pick, Drew, I'm pretty pissed off. And the reason I'm pissed off is because for some reason, our books in here keep going missing. And we've written down all of our picks in different books because our books keep coming up missing. And we were going to come up with a tally at the end of the year to show that Marcus and Drew don't know shit about football, and me and Kyle were going to have such a good record. But now we can't. So
hold on a second. I apologize with that. Kyle asked a fantasy question.
Okay.
The Ernest Johnson's fantasy value, where does it go with Nick Chubb back? I'll start with that because Kareem Hunt is still in the IR. So I think that the Ernest Johnson is going to take that Kareem Hunt role. He's going to get touches, and if something ever happens to Nick Chubb, he's going to be the guy. Like that will happen. This is Nick Chubb's first game back from being hurt.
That's a good point. That's a good segment there because do you feel that makes one of those running backs expendable? Does somebody get traded from that team on Tuesday?
No.
None of
I
those
think
three
that
running backs.
No, I
Obviously
think that
not Nick Chubb, but
yeah, I think that. Well, you got to think. Remember a few years ago with the whole Kareem Hunt saga, that whole thing that happened. There was
Right.
only one team that took a chance. That was Cleveland, and it's
Yeah,
working
but you
out
know what?
very, very well.
NFL teams tend to have a very short memory. So
Right,
nobody's
yeah,
even thinking about that anymore. If they can get their hands on Kareem Hunt, they're going to get their hands on Kareem Hunt.
Well, it's also a loyalty thing too, and plus also this team works really, really well with Chubb and Kareem Hunt. They
Yeah, but
work
today,
very
Do
well.
you feel today that we might see this team work really well with Nick Chubb and Johnson?
That's a good question. I don't think that they'll get traded to the trade deadline. If
Okay.
anything were to happen,
Just
it'll
asking,
happen
'cause-
before the NFL draft.
Because Johnson is he's a rookie, right?
He was a free agent pick. He was actually with the AAF at first,
Oh,
and
okay.
then they signed him to the practice squad.
So he's never had a chance, and now he's coming out there
Yeah.
showing out like a real man. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yes, okay.
yeah.
Drew, Eagles, Lions.
Lions.
Okay. Well, I
Oh, 3 for the Lions. Let's go, boys.
I picked the Eagles, and last time I was the only one to pick the Jaguars to win over the Dolphins, and the Jaguars won. So screw you guys.
The Lions are coming for your kneecaps. You better watch them.
Yeah, I haven't seen them bite anybody. So
Yeah,
whatever.
it's more like
There's
Kirk.
always tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I guess today.
Titans, Colts.
Give me the Colts, man.
All right.
Colts
Ooh.
are starting to get a little bit of a rhythm here. Carson Wentz is starting to pick this up. Run game looks fantastic for Indianapolis. I know that Tennessee obviously has Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I was about to say, are we going to talk about run
but-
games on when you're talking with the Titans and not go with the Titans run game?
But Carson Wentz is looking a lot better passing the ball. He's looking a lot. He's improving every week. I don't know who the hell is going to be healthy for Tennessee as far as receivers go.
I can say
I have
this:
no
that
idea.
last week, the Derrick Henry went against one of the worst defenses against the run, and he ran the ball 28 times and only had 86 yards.
Yeah.
When you're so one dimensional, I mean it
Yeah.
doesn't matter how good you are as Derrick Henry. I mean, I get it; he's still the rushing leader right now, but Julio Jones is out again this week. So that offense is just different, man. It's just not the same.
So you're going to Indianapolis?
No, I'm going Titans. I am
Not
going
so
Titans.
fast.
Yeah, I am going Titans because Derrick Henry doesn't get held under 100 yards 2 games in a row. It just doesn't happen. So I'm thinking. And last week I called for Derrick Henry to run for 240 yards. Remember?
Wow.
I wasn't here last week.
But because it was against Kansas City. Everyone, that's right. None of y'all were, except for Marcus. Marcus was here because he's my best friend. He's my only friend.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But,
I'm going to put this on mute real quick.
Derrick Henry was, we had a bet saying who was going to have a better game, Derrick Henry or Tyreek Hill. And Derrick Henry did have a better game. But they were both garbage. I mean, neither one of them had a touchdown. I mean, it was awful. It was awful last week.
Yeah, it was really
But
bad.
I'm going Titans. What you got, Drew?
I'm going Titans, as Kenny is saying in the group chat, saying A.J. Brown is catching fire. And like you said, Derrick Henry doesn't get under 100 in back-to-back games.
Yes, sir.
And
All right.
yeah.
Bengals, Jets.
Give me the Bengals by a lot.
Yep.
Number 1 seed in the AFC, give me the Bengals.
Yep. Screw you, Dan.
Zach Wilson's out, so like they have Mike White playing quarterback. Oh boy.
Who?
Mike White.
Yeah. Who? And Corey Davis is out.
You
So
know
the
who they
number
just
one
traded
receiver
for?
And
Who?
You know who the Jets just traded for? Joe Flacco.
Oh, that's right. He
Oh,
is going
that's-
back to
he's
the Jets.
back.
That's right.
yeah, but Mike White is still the starter there.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Rams,
good job, boys.
Texans.
Oh my God.
This is easy.
Can we-
This should be the second sweep. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Well-
Rams. They're favored by 16 in this game. Good God.
Well, I told Kenny that I would show Cooper Kupp some love. I want to ask a question on this one.
Can I get your pick first?
Rams.
Okay.
Listen to these stats. 7 receptions, 108 yards, touchdown. 9 receptions, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns. 9 for 96 and 2. 5 for 64. 7 for 92. 9 for 130 and 2. 10 for 156 and 2. If he can keep this up, how much of a chance does he have to win MVP?
0. 0%.
His lowest total was versus the Cardinals at 5 for 64.
0%, Drew. The MVP award is not for wide receivers.
Yeah. I'm so.
He makes a great case for it, but it is like if he can keep this up.
The last person to win that was not a quarterback to win the award was Adrian Peterson, and that's because he literally was 6 yards shy of breaking Eric Dickerson's record after tearing his ACL.
You do have to you do have to be like make a history year, and even if he were to keep that up, I don't think that even gets him near the receiving record, does it?
Well, through 7 games, he has 56 receptions, 809 yards, and 9 touchdowns.
They do have
Not
an
even
extra game
close.
this year. They do have an extra game this year.
Yeah, it's not even close.
I do have a question. Now that you add a game to the NFL season, does that change things like stat wise? Because now you're gonna have a whole new era of the most rushing yards in a single season and all that.
It's just like in MLB whenever they talk about the extra years in previous years for like the wild card and extra games.
Yeah,
it's
Well, you gotta think
they're just gonna put an asterisk next to it and go because they always put like since the merger or since this, they'll just add that.
And also
into
just
it.
to throw that out there, the fact that they did the runner on second in extra innings, I think all of those stats should be trashed. You should not get an RBI for a single and you led the inning off. I think that's ridiculous.
Hey, I count
think
that slow
that's
pitch softball all day.
But so we got Pats Chargers.
Give me the Chargers.
I got the Chargers as well.
Chargers.
Oh, another sweep on the Pats, man.
Sorry,
no
RJ.
respect for RJ. No respect. Jags Seahawks.
Give me the Jaguars.
Yep. Jaguars for me as well. Go Jags.
Seahawks.
Oh, okay.
Geno Smith is dog shit, man.
Yeah. Kyle also picked the Jags. We're gonna go Washington Broncos.
Give me Denver.
Okay, I have Denver as well. Kyle picked Washington.
Give me.
Is it still Taylor Heineke?
Yeah, give me Washington.
You know what? I love that dude.
Give me what? Oh my God, I love
that dude.
Give me Washington.
Are you betting against Teddy Bridgewater, the man with the glove, the man with
Teddy
how
two?
many interceptions?
Do you
Teddy
feel,
two gloves?
Yeah, how many interceptions does he have? Let's
think
give an
3.
update. Let's give an update on this bet you guys got.
I think 3.
He has to hit 10 for you to owe Kyle money, right?
Mhm.
Hey, it's kind of working out in your favor so far.
Yeah, so far he's actually doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, where?
While he's looking that up, let's go to the next game.
Giants versus Chiefs.
Giants Chiefs. Oh, I mean, this
And they
shouldn't
have
be
no
like a thought
Galladay.
process.
They have no Galladay.
They have no receivers. They have
No
nothing. Give me the Chiefs.
Saquon.
Yeah, this is the bounce back game for Kansas City here. This is the pick me up game. Give me Chiefs.
All right. I got the Chiefs as well.
Jackson Mahomes will dance all over the Giants too.
Do you feel like that the league has figured out Mahomes? Or do you just think this is just going to be a down year for a little while?
Well, again, like I had mentioned on the fantasy show too, because this is one of our questions as far as the
Are we afraid?
No.
Are we worried about Pat?
I think it's more of the pieces around him, meaning the offensive line has deteriorated a lot.
True.
The offensive line preseason ranking, they were ranked 7th, and now they're ranked, I believe, 18th in the NFL. So that takes a massive, massive hit. I believe that the defense has gotten worse somehow.
And just
but they've gotten worse. And the thing is when things like this frustrate you as a quarterback.
they really didn't do anything in the draft either. Like they haven't
no,
really
and
done anything.
It was like I said in the on the fantasy football podcast. This Chiefs team looks a lot like those 3 years of Saints teams where we went 7-9 3 straight years. That defense was god awful. Drew Brees had to throw the ball 60 times a game, and he was throwing 15, 20, 30 interceptions just because he was trying to do too much.
How many picks does Mahomes have right now?
He has 9.
So he has 9 already. Okay.
He has 9. His highest that he ever had a season was 12. But the year that he had 12 interceptions, he also threw 50 touchdowns. So that kind of like washed out. But he's got 9 right now.
How many touchdowns does he have right now?
He has, I believe.
What about you, Drew? Go ahead.
Teddy two
18.
gloves. Teddy Two Gloves has thrown 5 interceptions.
So we're halfway point right now.
But 3 came in one game against the Raiders.
So as of right now, Kyle owes you $25. Okay. Marcus, did you say he had 18 touchdowns?
Yep, 18 touchdowns.
So he'll blow by that 50. He'll blow. I mean, what's the odds of Patrick Mahomes throwing 65 touchdowns?
This year, none. I
think
don't.
so?
I don't.
See, I think
no,
he has
not
a chance
not
to throw
not
65
this.
touchdowns.
Not this year. If they ever get that offensive line good, man, just
See, and the reason why is because that defense is god awful. He's going to throw 50 times a game, and he's going to.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think he's going to push the ball down the field, and those weapons on the offensive side are going to be huge. So
I think he's got a shot, but I don't think.
How about 60? Let's go 60 then.
I think they
I
figure
think
out
he'll
a way.
do. I think he'll do 45 this year.
I think Andy Reid
Okay.
figures out a way to get that run game going,
Right.
And because
That opens up the pass.
because he realizes that the run game is going to be the way that he makes it to the Super Bowl, makes it back.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Absolutely.
Like every team in the playoffs, you look if they make it deep into the playoffs, they have a run game.
Yeah.
No team makes
Kansas
it
City-
purely off of a quarterback. So
If Kansas City goes to the,
you've got
Sorry
to
about
have that. You've got to have that complete team. So they've got to figure out that defense. They've got to figure out that run game, and then take it from there. And that's going to take away from some of those. It does open it up a little bit more, that play action pass, but it will definitely take away from some of those touchdowns.
yeah. I think if Kansas City does go to the playoffs, though, it'll be a wild card. They're not winning the
Yeah,
division
I
this
don't
year.
think so either. Drew, who do you pick?
Casey and
Sleep on that one then.
and Marcus. Kenny said Cooper Kupp will not be sending Marcus any season tickets anytime soon.
Oh, that's good. I'll make sure to write a note to him.
Okay, so we'll probably take a little longer on these two bottom games here. Is going to be the Bucks versus the Saints, which is very intriguing.
Well, I mean, considering I am wearing the Bucks jersey, Buccaneers by
2 touchdowns.
I say 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Okay, so Bucks by 17.
Bucks by 17, man.
I got
bro.
Bucks by 10, and I think from
Brady
now on,
is playing good.
Yeah, he is, and I think from now on, when we make our picks, I think we should not a score, but by how many points.
Yeah.
So we'll start that next week, and we'll show how many points. And I'll start writing by like Nick plus 10, Nick plus Marcus plus 17, Nick, whatever. So Drew,
I just don't. I don't think that with the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks have a depleted. This is kind of crazy. The Bucks have a depleted secondary. I mean, depleted. Like they called Richard Sherman, and then Richard Sherman came in and got hurt.
yeah, first
So it's first. Yeah,
First game.
they're depleted. But
Yeah,
the
they are.
Saints have Jameis Winston. We don't know what Jameis Winston they're going to bring out. They don't know if they're going to bring out someone who's going to be, absolutely on fire, or if he's going to hold the ball forever.
This is why I
And-
called him my black horse for MVP, because I mean it's just I feel like every time I watch Jameis Winston in the NFL,
Dark horse.
that's what I that's what I said.
You
didn't
said Black Horse.
I? Oh, dark horse, whatever.
I was letting it slide.
Yeah, but that's every time you see him play, it's like one throw, he'll go 8 of 10 to start the game. One throw is an absolute beauty, like a dime.
Yeah.
And they'll score a touchdown. And then the next one, he'll heave a ball higher in the air than it is far.
Like a punt.
Yeah. And then it gets picked. You're like, dude, what are you doing?
Try being a fan of the team he plays for.
Yeah.
the Bucks have been dealing with that shit for 6 years,
Yeah, I was about to
Drew.
say.
Yeah, and then they upgraded to Brady, so maybe my fortunes may be turning.
Yeah,
but
but the Saints do still have Kamara, and he is.
Yes.
Oh my
He is
God.
good.
Well,
Kamara
he's
just got traded in one of my leagues.
oh, I thought you were about to say Kamara just got traded. I'm like, how did I not know?
No, Kamara just got
I
traded,
traded-
for Austin Eckler.
But oh,
yeah.
I
But there was
traded.
some other- there were
I-
2 tight ends in there as well. Like, I mean, it was probably the fairest trade I've ever seen in my entire life.
but
Nick, a few weeks ago, I traded Tyreek Hill for Alvin Kamara, and I am loving the fact that what happened.
Whoever
for me.
did that is an idiot.
Whoever's
Whoever's
love
traded
it.
you Alvin Kamara for Tyreek Hill is an idiot.
I traded
just want
him
that out
after he
there.
had that like 40-point game, or whatever, like that crazy game he had. And I was like, I need a running back, and he's like, give me Tyreek Hill, and I'll give you Kamara. And I was like, I thought about it for a minute, looked it over. I was like,
I
you know
would've
what? I'll
looked
do
up
it.
shit. I'd have
And,
said, hell yeah, let's go. I mean,
and I did it. And now my running backs right now are Kamara, Daryl Henderson, and Khalil Herbert. Like, I'm doing great.
So let me bring up something that
Saints Bucks first.
Saints.
All right.
Let me
Oh,
bring.
no
Homer
surprise.
pick, or is that what you actually think?
That's what I actually think.
Okay.
Playing at home, we always play better at home. Have those fans behind us. It's
Yeah,
finally going
but
to be ruckus.
Y'all always play better at home when you had Drew Brees because Drew Brees loves a dome. That's the only reason why you played better at home.
those fans,
Yeah.
with how loud they can be, it makes a difference.
Yeah, in a dome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's at home in the
I feel
dome.
like we've seen this before.
But
Yeah, I know. That's at home in
But-
a dome.
at home. So
Eating bone. I mean, what are we doing?
let me bring up something. You guys were talking. We were talking earlier in the show about Jameis Winston not being a slant thrower. But what did we
Oh,
just
here
get
we
done
go.
talking about with Alvin Kamara? Alvin
It's the
Kamara is
difference
not
between-
running
he's-
deep routes. He's running swing routes, running little screen passes. I know it's
Screens
not.
are different than slants.
I know.
This is apples to oranges. You are talking about a wide receiver compared to a running back.
Hey,
The running back
I'm
can't
just talking about throwing the ball. He will line up in the slot and run a slant
see
and gets the ball.
the
He will
diff-
line up and run a hitch and get the ball.
Yeah, but the difference is that you're putting on a running back, you don't have a corner. You have a linebacker
I'm just
Or
saying
safety.
purely. I'm just
or a
saying.
safety.
I'm just saying purely from the quarterback standpoint of throwing the ball. You guys were saying, "Oh, Jameis isn't a slant throwing. It's not his style." If you watched last week's game against the Seahawks, all he did was throw little screen passes, little dump offs.
I think you're
You
getting
just-
things
you
a little
answered the
twisted.
question, bro.
I think you're getting things a little twisted. Nobody is saying that he can't do it. What they're saying is that he doesn't throw the ball there all the time. He wants to open that arm up. He has a huge
Yeah.
arm.
Yes,
he
he does.
wants to
Yeah.
throw the shit out of the ball. So, and y'all have that's what we were getting at. Not that he can't do it.
Yeah.
Every quarterback, if you can't dump the ball off, how the hell did you get in the NFL?
Yeah.
What's that guy's name? Matt White or whoever starting for the Jets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike
okay.
White.
Mike White.
Mike White. Yeah. But
Doesn't he sound like a coach?
yes.
Like,
He sounds like a
an
coach's
offensive
kid.
coordinator.
On the fantasy podcast, my sit of the week was also Mike Evans because he's going to be locked up with Marshawn Lattimore, and I pulled up the stats from his previous games, and Marcus can attest to this. He gets like 4, 5, 6 targets a game, but I think the most receptions he's had in a game is like 1 or 2.
You know, just because you said that, Drew, Tom Brady somehow came across the podcast on Spotify, listened to it, goes, I'm going to prove that motherfucker wrong. I'm going to prove him wrong. You're going to see Mike Evans get 20 targets today just so he can literally go say, I proved that guy wrong.
Yeah.
Well, hell, mention me, Brady.
Yeah, give us a shout out here. So now Cowboys Vikings.
Let's see,
and as of
this
right now,
one-
the Vikings were chosen by Kyle. I kind of had to panic there at the end. I hope everybody didn't notice. And then I called myself out. I'm an idiot.
This is so I'm going to say, I have to say this, and you can put it however you want. If Dak Prescott plays Cowboys, if Dak Prescott is not playing Vikings,
So this is the
I
only
can't
reason
make that decision.
The only reason why I'm putting my name next to the Vikings is because of he's still hurt. Because Dak is a top 7 quarterback.
Bump that number up, brother. He's right in top 5. I mean, he's
top 7
lights
quarterback.
out.
He's a top
light
7
out.
quarterback. And bless you, Drew. But
Bless you.
he's a
Thank
top
you.
7 quarterback. And I mean, I think he's verge top 5. He's on the verge. And but when fully healthy. Because the good thing about him, just like Russell Wilson is good at what? Scrambling. That's what makes Russell Wilson so good. So is Dak. Dak is very good at scrambling, and he can run. You won't see him run very much today with that hurt calf. So I think that takes his game down a little bit, and I just think the Vikings maybe edge one out. I say that the Vikings, and I'm not saying that they're a better team, because I think the Cowboys make it to the playoffs and actually give it a little run. But Dak not fully healthy against that Vikings defense. I think that Adam Thielen is going to have a huge game. Against that secondary. I think Adam Thielen is going to blow it the hell up.
Are you really going to pick the Vikings when Kirk Cousins plays a primetime game? Is this really going to happen again?
Captain Kirk was my start of the week. Captain Kirk is playing his best ball right now.
Yes, he is.
He is playing his best ball.
So I'm going to put Drew down as a Viking.
Yes.
Okay.
On the back of Captain Kirk, Justin Jefferson, and that game has the looks of a high-scoring game. And then you add in with Dalvin Cook. They're coming off a bye week. They're coming off a bye week to play against the Cowboys, who haven't.
The Cowboys are coming off a bye week too.
Yeah, but you guys have played a lot closer games than the Vikings have in the past couple of weeks. Like the Vikings are coming off a bye, rested with Dalvin Cook. He's finally healthy. I don't know how much longer we can say that for because we'll see.
It might change in the second half.
Yeah,
but I mean, we'll see.
You said a couple close games, Drew. We beat the Patriots in overtime, and then they beat the Giants by 24 the week before.
Beat the Giants. Okay. And so Chef Chris.
It is the Giants, but I did have to throw that it wasn't a close game.
Chef Chris, I guess I can't say much because my team lost to the Giants in overtime at home. But Chef Chris also said Vikings. Dak ain't got no skull beater in him.
Oh my Lord.
That was longer than expected.
I had to push the button again.
I think either way, man, I'm still taking Dallas. I'll still take Dallas.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Marcus is on Dallas. All right. Well, those are our picks. So if y'all want to throw any kind of shout outs for the last little bit of your fantasy or anything like that.
Sorry, man. Who's playing Monday night?
So Monday night is Giants versus Chiefs.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we did. Oh, God, that's an ugly game to watch. Ugh.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're talking about a bad Chiefs team, too. You're not even talking like a decent Chiefs team. You're talking about a bad Chiefs team. But against that Giants defense, I think Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, shit.
At least three touchdowns.
Here, breaking news. Sorry, this helps you, Nick. Breaking news. Falcons wide receiver Calvin Ridley is out today due to a personal matter.
What? Oh, okay. Personal matter. Okay. I was about to say.
Calvin Ridley is out.
Questionable. Man.
So there you go, man. There you go. Personal matter. Oh, is Calvin Ridley going to get traded?
Ooh. Calvin Ridley.
I don't think
that's
so.
3 weeks now.
I don't think so. I'm glad I pulled him then. You know what?
You're welcome. You're welcome, Nick.
Look at that.
Well, you're welcome. Man.
And what's funny is it's still not even on my app. So.
Yeah, that just came through on Sleeper. So
okay. Well, you know what? I guess Yahoo, screw you. Because Yahoo still doesn't have it on. That was terrible.
I know.
That was
oh boy.
That was not good.
Well, on that note, I guess we can end the show, right?
Yes, sir. All right. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. This has been absolutely fantastic. Everybody, please leave us a like, subscribe, turn your notification bell on, and make sure that you're tuning in for our next episode when, our fearless leader here doesn't have to leave immediately. So, go Braves. Astros suck.
Go
and let's get
Stros.
up out of here. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for listening to the Right On Sports Show. Find the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or find the guys on YouTube at Right On Sports and hit that subscribe button to be notified when they go live. In the meantime, check them out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Right On Sports.